Hello YouTube, Louie here. From time to time I like to do an update on the electric vehicle market, and for some of you that are thinking about adopting, come on along and let's take a little look at what is coming up in 2018. Again, this is more for people who have not had an EV before. I don't profess to be an expert on all things EV, but I am an average guy that has driven EV exclusively since 2013. As you know from my previous videos, I have driven the Nissan Leaf, and then I upgraded to a Kia Soul EV a couple years ago. I am a big fan of leases, and you'll hear me talk about that more and more as we go. But if you are thinking about doing this, there are some exciting things coming up in the future. I'm not going to try and review all EVs, although there are, gosh, at least 10 exciting offerings in 2017 and 2018. I'm going to focus on the usual suspects here and blow through them pretty fast. This video will also be for those people who are on a budget. Alright, I still contend that driving an electric vehicle is the least expensive way to motivate yourself around town, and I've proven that through the years myself. I am in California, and that we have some unique advantages here that you may not have in every state in regard to rebates and lease offers and even availability of some of these vehicles. But let's get going and look at what I would say the top 4 suspects are for going EV in 2018. Now there's an interesting scenario brewing with both the Bolt and the Leaf, and I'll get to that in a minute. But let's start with the Model 3, the coveted Tesla Model 3. Well, if you're one of those people who put down $1,000 reservation some time ago, you have a chance of seeing your Model 3 pretty soon. For the rest of us, here's what they are saying. It is still a low-priced car. $35,000. They still plan on a range of 220 miles, which used to be earth-shattering and mind-blowing. It's getting to, it is not going to be a class of 1 going forward. They're saying reserve your Model 3 for delivery in 12 to 18 months. So potentially you could get this in late 2018. And I'm not going to go into the technology of the Tesla. Suffice it to say that Elon Musk has built a category killer car here. It has got a stupendous range and amazing technology, and is beautiful to the eye, although not as beautiful as the concept car that I saw some time ago when I thought about putting my reservation down. And I'm glad I didn't. Okay, in retrospect, when I was about to buy my Kia Soul EV, I thought about putting a reservation down on the Tesla Model 3, and it would have never been fast enough for me to get into this car. But it clearly will be a wonderful car, and there's going to be technology that will take you well into the future. And I suspect the resale value will be fairly high. The reason, and that might be the reason to wait for the Model 3, make your reservation now and just go full force for it. But I don't think it's the poor man's choice. All right, I think there will be less expensive options. I searched the internet as widely as I could and read the chat boards. And if you are a leaser, like me, I'm a big believer in leasing because I do not want to own quickly degrading technology. I want to lease it. And the deals, the special deals on the leases can get you into some of these cars with no money down, assuming you get a rebate of $2,500 or so from your state, and then the low cost payments. And you're in it for 3 years and you're out, and by the end of 3 years we could be seeing 300-mile range. We could be seeing fully autonomous cars as the standard. We could be seeing just packages that would not even be imaginable today. So again, I don't personally want to own this technology. I just want to support it, and I want to be the beneficiary of the low price of driving an electric vehicle. When I looked for leases for the Model 3, and I got to get off this car real fast and move on to the others, I was not able to see any indication that there are going to be any blowout deals. The demand is extremely high, and in that kind of environment, they're going to be pushing you to buy the car. Okay, 35,000 is the base. Of course, you know, the nice ones are going to be 50. But generally they're going to want your cold hard cash. You're going to wind up financing it. You're not probably going to see this car for under $300 a month on a lease, and I'm betting it's going to be more like $400. But you know, don't hold me to that. If there are any leasing experts out there that know there are incentives coming from Tesla on leases, correct me. But I would not expect to see a smoking lease deal on a Model 3 because people are just going to want it. Okay, and if you just want it, go buy it. Moving on to the Nissan Leaf. Okay, the 2017 Nissan Leaf is currently available, and again, I'm looking at 2018 when the major upgrades are said to be happening. There have been some modest improvements in the 2017 Nissan Leaf, getting you up over that 100-mile range. And it's a fantastic car. The old, there's not a picture of the old Leaf here, but you guys have seen, I'm not going to leave this page, but you guys have seen the old Nissan Leaf. It's been around since, what, 2011? I mean, they waited way too long to upgrade the style and skin and everything on this car, and that's why I left the Leaf. But the Leaf is, you know, just an enormously wonderful car. It's a pleasure to drive. Simple controls, great performance, great reliability. I had no issues in my Leaf other than the AC went out a couple times and was fixed under warranty. These cars require no maintenance. Now, these EVs, you barely even get to know your dealer, and frankly, you probably don't even ever need to take it in, but you know, you'll want to. But the 2018 Leaf is said to be coming up to a 150-mile range. Okay, I know they had promised 200 miles, and I think they will get there, and there may be an upgrade available at an exorbitant cost. But the Nissan Leaf has got some of the best lease deals, continues to have some of the best lease deals. If you, in the future, in the next 6 months, or whenever the 18 comes available, can get into this car for $199 a month, with no money down, in other words, with the rebate from the state, paying your entry fee, that is an absolute no-brainer. Do you realize how cheap this car is to drive? And with no major range anxiety at 150-mile range, it is an absolute no-brainer. You will save a fortune on this car, and you will have no anxiety, and you will love it. It's a good car. I understand there's new technology coming with the 2018. I'm not going to get into that. I'm sure it doesn't rival the sexy Tesla, right? But it's a Leaf. It's tried and true, reliable, and would be a great choice. In 2017, they continue to blow them out the doors. They're getting to be a little bit of a grandfather. My Kia Soul has the range, you know, which I bought less than 2 years ago. Range is already down to 85 miles a day. And I imagine on the Nissan Leaf, you know, if you buy the 2017, you'll be looking at a similar scenario, 85 to 95 mile range after you've driven it for a while. Again, lease, don't buy. That's my recommendation. Moving on, so the Leaf, worth waiting for. Definitely worth waiting for. And that's a sexy new car. The reverse, the rear of the car is pretty cool looking too. I like the rear of the car. It's got some good hatch space. This is a small car that feels big on the inside. Okay, moving on to my current daily driver is the Kia Soul EV. Got this also on a lease deal at a great price. They've got some sexy upgrades. They got the dancing hamsters. What they don't got is they are not paying attention to range. My car's got the 27 kilowatt battery. I'm already down to 85 miles range. I drive it pretty hard. But some people, claim to stay in that 90, 95 mile zone. They're getting an upgrade in 2018, 10% up to a 30 kilowatt battery. And Here are some specs on it. But, realistically, that's going to take you up to 100, 105. You'll probably be averaging, 100 or less on the range on the 2018. But they do have the lease deals. Now, the thing I'll say about this car, which I absolutely love and have not even been back to the dealer at 20,000 miles, absolutely love that it's young looking. It is spacious on the interior. You can throw bikes in the back. It's got a huge cargo load. It's square. You may like that or hate that, but you can just put a ton of people, stuff, luggage. It's fast, not as fast as the Leaf, but fast enough. It's boxy. It's it's a little noisy. It's got some air noise. But performs flawlessly and gets me around town cheaply. They've got the lease deals. If you like this, if you think it's cool, definitely hold out for the 2018. It really, it's getting long in the tooth. It is, again, if you buy a 30 kilowatt battery in 2018, you have made a mistake. Do not buy these cars. If you're going to lease it and give it back in 3 years when it's 70% depreciated, probably on a 50% residual, they're going to want to sell it to you for $5,000 under market even then. So don't put your money out today on these. I will say I have one criticism, and it's a very serious criticism. If you pay the money for the upgrade, which I did, the navigation system is total garbage. Everything else, the stereo, the handling, the range, I knew what I was buying when I got it, the fit and finish, the tires, the cargo space, fantastic car. And you could even go out and find a used one of these if your commute is not too long. I'm sure there'll be bargains on these, in the used EV market. But again, I really suspect there will continue to be lease deals on this vehicle. But if you buy it, look out for a drop in value after a few years. Finally, the car that I have not driven yet, but I have seen many reviews on. I've been waiting anxiously at the Bolt. It's, they kind of call it the Tesla killer. 238 miles of range. It has got a phenomenal range on it. It is available today, and here is the secret. Okay, you're going to want to know this. They're not selling well enough. All right, there was a lot of fanfare, but they are not selling as well as Chevy had hoped. I don't know what it is. Fit and finish, the look, the Chevy badge. Being somewhat of a, there are Chevy loyalists and there are people that avoid Chevy with all their might. The Volt with a V, the predecessor to the Bolt, is a hybrid, and it's a fantastic vehicle, but just a horrible designed car with very small interior and so forth. The Bolt, on the other hand, has got a gigantic headroom and is amply spaced on the inside. It's more of a European design, so it's kind of skinny but tall. And that may appeal to some people. It may not appeal to other people. It's got this killer range of 238 miles. And it has got, okay, here's the thing that Chevy has done that other makers, other than Tesla, really aren't doing. They've got the battery cooling. So they've got a cooling system for their batteries, which will prolong the life of the battery. And if you were going to buy a car and you could get it cheap, I imagine the Bolt or the Tesla would last a good long time. Those batteries are going to have a long shelf life. The Kia Soul does not have a sufficient cooling system for the battery, which makes it cheaper, I think. The Leaf has not had a sufficient liquid-cooled battery system. That's why their batteries, don't last as long. They are Nissan is saying they might move to a liquid-cooled battery system. I don't know if they will or not. It adds a great deal of. So the Bolt is really just an excellent choice if you like it. A lot of these cars are moving to the high-level regenerative braking, which I'm not a fan of. But anyway, really good choice. Available now, and I understand the lease deals are really smoking on these, and they probably will be next year as well. So if you think this is the car for you, if you like the look, if you like Chevy, definitely give it a look. It's going to be one of the cheaper models with the higher range. If you get into a face-off between the 2018 or 17 Bolt and I don't think there's going to be a lot of differences on the 2018 Bolt and the Nissan Leaf. I think the Bolt is going to be the better economic choice if the lease deals are similar, because the range is so much greater. This is a car that you're only going to plug in every couple days for most of us. Also, if you don't have to charge to full capacity, you'll preserve your battery. I have other videos about battery preservation, and you can feel free to ask any questions about that if you're looking to baby your battery. But you really don't need to in a car like this, and it's also going to be liquid cooled. The other thing to consider if you want to buy the Bolt is the Volt. And I have not seen the 2018 version myself. It's just too small for me to fit into. That's why I passed it many years ago. But they're moving to a 52-mile range battery in addition to the internal combustion engine in the Volt moving forward, which makes that an outstanding vehicle. Again, if you like it and fit in it and can get it cheap, you can drive on that battery for the average commute, which is only like under 50 miles. And then the gas kicks in for anything over that, and you've got a car that is good in every scenario and has got some of the finest engineering available. Just millions and millions were spent on Chevy engineering in their electric vehicle and their hybrid vehicles, and they must have lost a fortune in this category. But finally, the EV is coming into its own. There are so many choices. I'm just really happy to see the choices available here. There are other vehicles available, which here you go if you want to check out the Volkswagen, the Hyundai, also a South Korean vehicle. They've been doing electric cars in South Korea for decades, I understand. So I don't know anything about the Ioniq. Boy, they need a different name for that. But check it out. The Ford Focus, I don't know, but has been a good vehicle if they extend the range on that. The e-Golf, I think, has got an upgrade in range. The Mitsubishi, the teeny little iMiev, I think, is getting an upgrade in range. So, you start getting into that 150-mile range, you have got a carefree, you've got an absolute carefree vehicle that if you can get it on a cheap lease deal, absolutely get it. I'll go back to the sexy Tesla because I know that's the one y'all want, right? You want the Tesla. I got to say though, it is not as cool looking as the model cars, the concept cars, and the Bolt is a serious disappointment from the model cars I saw. I think they should have copied the Tesla a little more if they were going for sexy, because the Bolt didn't turn out sexy. It kind of turned out frumpy, kind of turned out cheap looking, kind of turned out like the Nissan Leaf used to look. The Nissan Leaf, I think, is better looking than the Bolt. The Tesla, not as good as it could have been, but pretty sleek, pretty nice if you get the right color and color combinations, etc. So as I said on the screen, I will say, go for it. Adopt an EV if you can get the government and the state and all the lost money on technology that's been paid by God knows who else. You can be the benefactor of all that technology and have this electronic vehicle. You can benefit the planet by having a smaller carbon footprint, even if the power is generated through coal. These cars are efficient. You can reduce your cost. down to $4 for a charge, and I'm going by my car. My car continues to cost less than $4 to go from zero to full battery, giving me, in the beginning, gave me, like a 100-mile range. Now it's more like an 85-mile range. That's at 15 cents a kilowatt. The electric utility has reset my rates, so I get the lowest possible rates when some of my neighbors are paying 3 times as much for electricity for their homes. Still, this is in California. Check your own local regs. If you're looking at used vehicles, the used Volts are so cheap right now. I've got a friend who's turning his in. It was a $50,000 vehicle. They're probably going to give him about $7,000 on his trade-in on his vehicle. I think he's got maybe 80,000 miles on the car. Just fantastic engineering in the Chevy Volt. Too small for a large-sized American to fit into, but I'm going to buy that from him, and I'm going to give it to my son, who's going to become of driving age in a couple years. And the nice thing about that car is, the first 25 miles are free electricity, basically. So you don't have him bugging your parents for to fill up his tank. The new Volts will have a 50-mile range on the battery, virtually free driving for a teen. And then the internal combustion will kick in, and that'll be on his dime, but also at a very economical rate. So if you are looking into a car for the kids, a safe car, a cheap car. Kids want cheap. They want to drive their butts off and not pay anything. They're going to love these used vehicles, especially the hybrids. And when some of these higher range vehicles come into the used car market, and even some of the mid-size range, if they don't drive that far, it's good choice for kids and young adults to drive cheaply. So I think I will leave it there on the sexy Tesla. What will I be choosing? Gosh, I don't know. I might have to go back to the Leaf. And I love the car, but I just thought I was really mad at them for not upgrading the style, for leading the industry for so many years and then resting on their laurels and just giving us the same old thing year after year after year, not even a decent range. They finally broke through, and they're going to go to 150 mile and then soon to 200. So that'll be inexpensive. The Bolt, I gotta say, I don't like how it looks. I'm sorry. The Soul, gotta say, Soul, if you don't upgrade your range, I'm not coming with you next time around. But boy, it's a fun, cute car. But if I was going to pay for cute, I'd probably go with the Tesla. So yes, I'm conflicted. I got a year before I have to make this decision. What are you going to pick? Okay, or one of the other choices. What an exciting time to buy an EV. And I haven't even gotten started on the motorcycles that are going to be coming out. Do you know that the police force is considering going to electric motorcycles? Okay, this is the future, and it's a great second car as well. If you have a nice car already and you're looking for something else, you want to play with it, you want to get a used one, don't be afraid, guys. This is great technology. All right, Louis signing out. Love to hear your comments. Thanks so much for watching. Bye now.